there's definitely going to be items of clothing in your closet that don't hold a lot of significance in terms of memories or what they represent. Welcome to Hanger Management, where we explore our closets one thought at a time. I'm Carrie Scott, the founder of the Soul Selves Framework and author of the upcoming book, Buddha's Closet, Cleaning as a Path to Enlightenment. You'll never look at your closet the same way, and you'll never look at yourself the same way again either. I want to talk about this skirt that I'm wearing today. And I don't have a ton of attachment to it. I bought it because I have a little obsession with knits, and particularly knit bottoms. When I see a knit bottom that's a little unique, I really gravitate towards it. This one particularly drew me in because of the fiber content. So it is merino wool and angora, which got me super excited, and it's really, really comfortable to wear. And then I found this top a year or so later to kind of match with it because it's knit as well, and I thought it would be a good pairing. I always imagined having this sort of monochromatic knit outfit. I'm sure I've seen something similar to it in a magazine or on Pinterest or online somewhere, and it's always sort of planted a seed in my head of what that would look like. And this is sort of my rendition of that, as close as I could get. So yeah, what does that all mean? I mean, there's definitely going to be items of clothing in your closet that don't hold a lot of significance in terms of memories or what they represent. There definitely is a certain belief that I'm identifying, even as I'm speaking this out with you, about the fiber content that holds a really important space in my identity, I think. And it's an interesting one because I think this is a good time to challenge that, right? I mean, the fact that I'm wearing a skirt really is a big deal because I don't typically tend to wear skirts. It's a very rare occasion, and this is one of a rare skirt. It's like a rare sighting in my closet of a skirt that's sort of made it through the test of a few wardrobe changes and still kind of keeps coming back in again, even though I've only worn it like, oh my goodness, maybe this is probably the third or fourth time that I've actually worn it, and now I'm wearing it out of the house later today. But yeah, there's something really important to note about things that are not in our closets. So in my upcoming book, Buddha's Closet, I talk about that in relation to skirts and dresses. And there's this trauma, this childhood trauma that I had when I was in kindergarten. I'm thinking kindergarten, maybe grade 1, back in elementary school. And my elementary school was a teaching school for the university nearby, and so in every classroom there was also an observation room up above. So students from the university could come and sit in this observation area and watch the classroom as it was happening and learn. And they weren't there all the time, but we always knew when there was somebody observing, and there was always that sort of bank of large windows in every classroom that kind of loomed overhead and gave us that sense that, you know, we were being watched. So my trauma, it's funny to talk about now. I mean, poor me when I was little, like, oh, I still feel for her pain at the moment. I can still relive that. But what happened was I was in gym class, and of course the gymnasium also had that big bank of windows with the observation area up above. And there was students observing us this particular day. I was wearing my cute little 70s floral dress. I want to say it was like some sort of brown floral dress. Really kind of floofy, probably had puffy sleeves and, you know, a little bit of like lace around various places for detail. And we were practicing, you know, doing somersaults and rolling around on the big blue gym mats. And every time I did some sort of motion, my dress would come up and my poor little underwear were showing to the whole like audience up above. And I was so self-conscious of this, so self-conscious. And, you know, I'd try and do something and hold my dress down, and just that whole experience of being so vulnerable at such a young age and not having any sense of control over how to change it or participate in a way that felt safe to me. It was really scarring, and I would not be surprised at all if that has really affected my desire to wear dresses and skirts, you know, even 47 years into my life now, right? Like, it's not a choice that I typically make when given the choice, right? So wearing a skirt, this one in particular is quite tight fitting, and I think on some level that actually gives me a sort of sense of safety and security. And then the fiber content, because it's got that bit of angora in it, makes it so much more cozy. It's kind of like wearing a blanket, right? Like, you just want to wrap a blanket around you, and it's a safe skirt for me in some subconscious way that now I can wear out in public. I'm not one to go for big floofy, you know, layered skirts, and there's very, very few dresses in my wardrobe at this stage in my life. But it's an interesting thing to sort of reflect upon, and I think when we take the time to look at what isn't in our closets, it gives us space to think about why that is the case, and maybe there's something that we need to do, some sort of work that we need to heal with our inner child, some sort of trauma that we need to take a closer look at, that might actually change the way that we decide to dress, change the way that we approach dressing, and welcome different items in. That's definitely, I think, the case for me, and maybe you'll see more dresses and skirts on me as I sort of heal that part of myself. But I think just taking the time to question what's not in our closets gives us the opportunity to look at those subconscious thoughts that may be impacting us that we were unaware of. Take a moment, if you enjoyed this conversation, to subscribe to this channel and like this video, and I hope to see you again next time. Awareness looks good on you.